Hello.
Hello, Raymond.
How are you, Richard?
Very good. It's a
How
very
would you?
good football game going on behind me.
I see. Is it still 31-28?
It is.
Ah.
It is.
I was going to come in and say gentlemen, but it's just you and I.
It's just you and I. We're rolling into this one without Billy. He is, at this point, technically a no-call, no-show, which,
Yeah.
if you read the Simple Mind Handbook, that means some type of suspension.
Or
So,
penalty. Let's go penalty.
what's the penalty?
The release of Billy Bad Words, Volume 1.
The people want it.
The people want it. I want it. You want it. That's all that really matters to me.
Yeah. He might have given up his right to deny access to Billy Bad Words Volume 1.
Did he pay you today?
He paid me for the bet that he lost.
Nice. Oh, but he didn't pay you the other 40?
No. He paid me for the bet that he lost in the second quarter of the Patriots game, the bet being that the Patriots would win by 10 over the Texans, which we all know did not happen.
Nope.
Not even close. So in the second quarter of that game, he Venmoed me $50. And then I think he texted us, "I'm really fucking drunk. Can I have a sick day?" We both called him a cunt, and we haven't heard from him since.
No, you gave him multiple choice answers. What are you doing for tonight's show?
Oh yeah, that's right. One of them was docking with his best friend, which he said no to.
But he
didn't say yes or no to Tinder whore being in jail or coming on the show. So I still take that as a no call, no show.
Oh yeah.
We know potentially he's not docking with his best friend, but again, he vehemently defends the things that we know are very true, like the STD situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine how much pee-pee touching he has going on right now as we record this.
Well, yeah, and you got a picture of him and his best friend behind you. You could, if you want to show the audience that.
Oh, sure. Over my right
shoulder.
So slide it away there.
You got to zoom it in. Can you zoom that in?
We'll let whoever's looking zoom it in. We'll make them work for it. It's very nice. You did.
I think that's probably one of my best works. I was laughing my ass off the whole time I was doing it.
It's it's excellent work.
Thank
you. Another thing that he very much denies is having anything to do with pedophilia, and that picture proves otherwise. So whatever. This is what you get on the no call, no show. We're gonna have to come up with some kind of penalty. He might actually be very upset if we suspend him and just don't let him fucking Billy Rambles his way through his drunken Thanksgiving week off, Billy Badwing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He'll probably be texting us all Tuesday. Oh man, I'm really excited for the show so I can finally talk to Patriots. No. Or we'll just bring him on and mute him the whole time.
That's what I was just thinking. I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, Bill, come on. We'll mute you the fucking whole time.
Maybe that's it. We should give him. It's a 40-minute show. He has to come on here for 20 minutes of mute time and just listen to us talk.
Done. I like it. I agree to this.
He's got a 20-minute suspension
Done.
in show.
Done.
20-minute in-show suspension. It's like an in-school suspension. You got to be in the show. You got to be there. Or actually, maybe we should make it 30 minutes so he just gets like the last 5 to say whatever.
Or, okay, but the last 5 minutes, he has to talk MLS soccer.
Yeah. He's got to give us an actual update on the Revs playoff situation.
Yep. Because Tuesday is their playoff game, so you have to give us a whole rundown of what's going on.
Yeah, what to look for. What's the striker strategy in the Revs game coming up, Bill?
And he can't say, I don't know. He has to have answers to all these
he has to have answers. And then there has to be repercussions for after that. We just keep muting him.
No. Hey, you can't answer the questions. You can get muted next show.
You're going to get fucking muted. That's just insult to injury not having old Billy Badwing with us today because not the best day for our beloved Patriots, Ray. So why don't we go ahead and get into it and labor through this one. Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show Monday headlines, November 23rd, Thanksgiving week. This should be fun. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because no one's going to call anyone a cunt, and no one's going to have a mother joke. It's going to be a nice, civilized conversation with two friends about what's going on in the world of sports.
Well, we'll see because Snip Snap Cammy Pajamas over there, the guy that was very full on the cam train. I don't know if you've seen our Twitter mentions lately, but I'm in a full on fucking war with us and our 26 followers and everybody else who points it out. Full on war. All I said was Cam Newton's not a good. The question was asked, what do the Patriots need to do? And I said, get a new quarterback. The Cam Newton era should be over. And I was called a racist, a misogynist. I was fucking lit up.
Snowflake.
My strategy for Twitter is just to go completely obscure and random and just confuse them with either like very nice things or just off the wall shit. Because if you just start trying to talk logic on Twitter, you're a dumb.
Yeah, it gets you nowhere.
So the second someone called me racist,
rolled up the sleeves.
All right, yeah, sure.
Let's do this.
That being said, though, Cam Newton was not your. All right, so look. Patriots lost 27-20 against the 2-7 Houston Texans. It should be noted before we start ripping into this Patriots team, the Houston Texans have lost. I think it's their last 4 or 5 games by one possession, by 7 points or less, one possession. So yeah, they're a bad team. They've gone through obviously the Billy O'Brien exodus, and they got the Jack Easterby Jesus swing on their side. And Deshaun Watson has always lit this team up. That being said, Cam Newton wasn't your biggest problem today. It was your defense. Mm-hmm. Your secondary got shredded.
Yep. J.C. Jackson does not look like a number one cornerback. Our reigning defensive player of the year looked like absolute trash out there. Deshaun Watson lit him up for 344 yards, only 9 incompletions, 2 touchdowns. Not a good day for that best secondary in the NFL.
Not a good day at all. And it was the whole I mean, we know the front seven is limited, but they've looked better in some of these games. But for a Bill Belichick defense to give up the edge to Deshaun Watson as many times as they did and let him scramble and find his lanes, that was the biggest surprise, and they didn't fix it in the second half either. That was the biggest surprise to me. You know he is going to tear Chase Winovich's asshole open in the film room after he watches all of his fucking stunts that he tried to do. Deshaun Watson runs 7 yards to his left and completes a ball for 23 yards down the middle of the field to Will Fuller. Or the tight ends, The
tight ends lit us up today.
Lit us up. Lit them up. I mean,
how's that first round pick?
Phew.
Duggar looked like shit. Just add it to the secondary list. He looked like shit.
He looked like shit in coverage. I thought that he made some plays up front, and if he's the Patrick Chung replacement, then that's pretty much what you can expect because Patrick Chung has made people look like shit in coverage by many people over many years.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're out there with the likes of J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, the McCourties, Jonathan Jones, every single one of them got burnt for either a touchdown or a big play, and none of them even pretended that they could tackle. They couldn't tackle one of fucking Bill's illegitimate children if they wanted to on Sunday. Pathetic.
The best play of the game was when Deshaun Watson rolled McCourty in the end zone.
Rolled.
He didn't have it just looked like he was a rag doll. He just fucking rolled over him. It was a laugh out loud moment for me.
Yeah, it was bad. And it was the second drive by the Texans. Deshaun Watson went 5 for 5, 75 yards, touchdown. Just chewed him up. And you thought that there was going to be hope because Houston came out. Patriots stopped them. I think, 6 plays or whatever, stopped them. They got the ball and ran it right down Houston's throat to make it. They ran it.
Oh, weird, because after they ran it down their throat, they stopped that.
Yeah, bad day for McDaniels. Bad day for McDaniels. You get up 7-0 after running it down their throat. You gash the defense. Your play action is working. Damian Harris, sweetness, as we like to call him, that dude's got burst on the edge, too, to come to find out. And it seemed like, look, I didn't have a problem with a possession or two against seemingly a bad defense trying to get your passing game going in this type of game. At some point, you got to try and do it. It just at some point when it's not working, you got to go back to what is working. and it seemed like they saw that edge collapse a couple times on Houston, and they just went to the well way too many times and wasted way too many possessions, which in the end dug themselves a hole because, again, your defense stunk. Stunk fucking out loud.
To bring it back to Damian Harris point, the first drive where they scored, 5 rushes, 25 yards and a touchdown. After that, that was it. The total game, 86 yards for the whole team. So, I mean, you're going against the 32nd ranked rush defense in the NFL. Why wouldn't you be running down their throat all game long? And it was working. It wasn't like he was getting stopped. When he got the chance, he was getting positive yards every time. Give the man the ball, let him go.
The other side of that, too, is Deshaun Watson's carving you up. You can't get to him. I mean, they had decent pressure on him, but they didn't contain the pocket. They let him escape it. So they ended up with 0 sacks. They ended up with 0 turnovers. They're now 0-6 in games where they don't win the turnover margin. This is the type – we talked about this in games before, although you fucking idiot said don't let him get hot. I said –
Bill said that.
Okay, snip snaps. I said this team is – any game that they win is going to be by a little bit. It's not going to be by much because their margin of error is so fucking thin. And you saw it today or saw it on Sunday. No turnovers. No sloppiness by the Texans. They played a clean game, and you made too many mistakes. Penalties killed them. Offensive penalties. Was it 4 or 5 bad holding calls on the offensive line? And
N'Keal Harry had 2 of those good ones.
N'Keal Harry. Good segue. N'Keal Harry sighting. Do you how many balls did he catch? I didn't write that down.
2.
He only had 2?
2 or 3. It wasn't that much.
Well, he had 2 in one drive. I think he had more than that. I think he might have had 4 or 5. But either way, just to see him out there catching the ball was a little bit surprising.
Well, yeah, but how many negative penalty yards did he have? If you do the negative penalty yards plus the catches that he had, he probably had like positive 3 yards today.
Yeah, I have here in the third quarter on their first drive, N'Keal Harry setting caught 2 balls. And then that was the same drive, 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1, you're down 17-2. What was it at that point? No, you're down 10-21 at that point. In the third quarter, your first drive. 3rd and 1, you got to go get a touchdown to make it a game. And you sweep it out to Rex Burkhead, and his knee was left in fucking Dallas.
We did not knock on wood enough.
Right, we did not knock enough wood last week when we said Rex Burkhead hasn't gotten hurt yet. Yeah. We're now in week 11. That has never been seen, and week 11 was the ending point for that.
Well, now he has a new set point to go for every year. 11 weeks, see if he can stay healthy past 11 weeks.
Dude, he might not be able to suit up again to week 11 next year. That looked bad. And they pretty much confirmed it's a blown ACL.
Oh, you don't say. I'm not a fucking doctor. I could have told you that right away. When your knee bends inwards, that's a blown ACL, my friends. That's a fucking easy take right there.
Yeah, you might want to throw the MCL and PCL on top of that fucking thing. Everything probably
was destroyed.
You saw him on the field too. I thought the way he was laying, I thought like maybe he landed on his shoulder and dislocated his shoulder or something. And then you saw the replay, you knew exactly. And pussy ass CBS wouldn't replay it. Well, we're not going to replay the injury here, but it's a knee injury.
No shit.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen Kevin Ware on Louisville break his fucking. We've seen Gordon Hayward. They didn't pause. They showed that Gordon Hayward highlight like a dozen fucking times.
If you have a squirmish stomach, please turn away.
Please turn away.
Just slow motion to see the fucking.
Not CBS. That's the respect they have for our boy Rex. Week 11, attaboy. We're not going to show this thing. But it did look like he was just laying just like I
thought he was knocked out at first.
I would love to interview like athletes that have had those major injuries and their immediate thoughts when they're just laying there. Like you saw starts with a W, the left tackle for the Rams got rolled up on and blew his ACL last week. Whatever. He just he got rolled up on, fell down. You could tell he was in pain, got up, walked off, and was like, fuck, that's an ACL. Burkhead looked like he was fucking shot. Looked like he was shot dead. And Brady, when he blew his ACL, like he got bent up on, they came out and he walked off. And all of New England went, oh, he'll be back next week because he walked off the field. And then we had to watch Matt Castle throw sideways for fucking 16 weeks. So I would love to get the instant reaction of guys in the field. Like Burkhead's just laying there. It looks like he's been shot. What's going through his mind at that point?
All that money you spent and your guarantee just went out the window. And now you have to figure out how you're going to get it.
Oh, well, here's some good news, Ray. Oh. We know how they can fill the hole with Rex Burkhead, because luckily for us as Patriots fans and a 4-6 team, our savior, first-round pick, Sony Michel, was designated off the IR. Didn't make the team. Didn't make the trip there. Healthy scratch this week, but look at that. Look at that.
Fill that hole, baby.
The gods are shining down on Sony Michel. He'll be back.
Fill that hole like Bill's mom does. Hey, we got a mom joke. Fuck you,
mom
Bill.
Joke. Behind the back. I had a couple things here. I'd like to touch on. I'm going to be transparent here. I'm not exactly sure how we want to continue talking about the New England Patriots. Because here's what I'm worried about, and I've mentioned this in shows past. In this,
someone on their deathbeds. Someone on their deathbed.
Okay, fine. So we have to talk about them respectfully and fondly, as if they did something good for the rest of their.
They did something great, but now they're dying a very painful, struggling death right now.
All right. Well, again, check the Twitter mentions. That's not going on in our stratosphere. I'm burying Cam Newton, and here's why. Here's the thing. And I've said this in shows before, and I think this is gaining steam. I think the Patriots are developing their quarterback for next year. And that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. I said it out loud today. I think it was 14-10. I think Houston had gone down and scored, and then the Patriots came back and were a little bit of a slow drive and stalled. And I said, out loud to nobody, watching this team is a bore. It's a slugfest. It's just grueling to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because both on offense and defense, they both struggle. Every time they make a stop on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 10, you're like, oh, thank God they actually did something. Watching Cam throw the ball and he gets a completion, you're like, holy shit, I didn't think that was going to happen. Then you get to special teams and Nick Folk gets a field goal and you're like, please, God, just make this. And he does. So, I mean, yeah, every play is like you're on the edge of your seat with this team now.
Which I'd be okay with. I'd be fine. Like, a part of me when we knew Brady was going to go was excited to get back to every week being a challenge to win. But the way that this team plays offense, the way that Cam Newton quarterbacks, and the way that they underdeliver and suck pretty much all around in a game like this where you just went out and beat Baltimore and gave us hope, I don't want to root for that type of team. That's a very hard team to root for. You're underachieving, or are you overachieving? We're not quite sure. And just the product on the field is abysmal. It's gross to watch.
It is. It's sloppy. From when you watch perfection for the past 20 years, and now you get this shit on the field, it's like, it's just very hard to stomach this right now.
Especially on the other side, you see Deshaun Watson looking like an NFL quarterback, throwing dimes, like quick release, getting the ball to his receivers where they can catch it and run with it. Mm-hmm. Where is the argument that Cam Newton's a good quarterback? Where is this argument, Twitter? Did you see how many fucking throws he threw in the dirt today? Did you see how many throws were he threw one pass. Let's give props to Damiere Byrd, who's been one of the most consistent offensive players we've had on this trash offense all year long. Had a really big game today, over 160 yards receiving. He had one third down, Cam did, to Byrd that they completed, where he tossed it out there with his gigantic elephant fucking approach and hand grenade form. And when Byrd caught it, he caught on the sideline and had a tiptoe in. There was nobody within 15 yards of him. If he just hit him in stride, he probably goes for the fucking 6.
Mm-hmm.
And
same with that Izzo one too. That Izzo one where he overthrew him. If he put it where it was supposed to go, Izzo had a lane for their touchdown.
Ray, how many balls did he throw at the feet of N'Keal Harry, at the feet of Jacoby Myers trying to come back on those screen plays?
Too many,
He's just
man.
turf diving. None of it is in a position where a receiver can do something with it. He's not that good of a quarterback. And because he threw one 40-yard pass, nice pass, better catch by Damiere Byrd on the touchdown throw today. Unbelievable catch. Opposite shoulder, running full speed with the defender on you. Great catch. Great game. Really good season by Byrd in my mind. But because Cam Newton had that, and this is what I'm also getting, he had over 300 yards passing. Well, the longest throw that he had all season was the Hail Mary to end the fucking game, to lose the game. That was it Ryan Izzo that caught it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the most yards Ryan Izzo was going to have in a game in his entire life. It's a 55, 57-yard Hail Mary that didn't make the end zone, and they caught it. They completed it, so now the stats say Cam had a good game. What the fuck am I dealing with here?
He almost had 400 yards. What game were you watching today there, buddy?
Yeah.
That's all the fucking Twitter said today. It just pissed me off when I was reading that shit.
Did you watch the game? 375 yards and a touchdown. Well, the touchdown was 40, and the Hail Mary was 55. So
negate that. Do the math.
And he could have had 500 if he didn't throw it at the shoelaces of half the time he threw the ball. This seems like a lot of ranting. What stood out to you other than anything that we've talked about? Anything at all? Nick Folk hit a 45-yarder that went dead center. He's been the most consistent player on this team for
Jake Bailey.
Jake Bailey, okay.
Jake Bailey's the best player on this team. I keep telling you, week in and week out. The punter is the best person on his team. The defense sucks. J.C. Jackson was our only bright spot going in. He got eaten up today. Bad.
He did.
He didn't look good at all.
He's he can't be a number one because he's boom or bust. I don't think that he is fundamentally and tactically, athletically gifted enough to be as cerebral as a Gilmore in his prime. And that's what you're looking for in a number one. He's a great number two because he takes a lot of risks and he's instinctual and he's, obviously fast and as athletic enough to make the plays that he makes, but he doesn't have that number one cornerback football IQ to understand what's going on. And you see him get burnt because of it constantly. The double moves that he gets burnt on. That was Jonathan Jones that got burnt in the back of the end zone there at the end of half, which was just another fucking just keep him in the pocket. Just keep him in the pocket. Make him throw. Man.
Some mental mistakes that you've never seen this team make before. Now you're seeing it all at once on both sides of the ball. It's just sad to see,
So that brings me to my next point is the mental mistakes. You're 4-6. Your playoff hopes are done. They're out. I know mathematically you're still in it. Miami lost today. I think Indy just lost, right? Did they win?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're definitely fucking out. You're out.
Cleveland won today, so you're definitely out.
You're done, Felger. The path is shut. You shall not pass. So if you're Bill Belichick, you haven't been in this position in a very, very long time. Is this the game? Did he already make this decision that he's going to live with the mistakes of Uche, Winovich, J.C. Jackson, Myers, Harry, these guys, the young guys, let the young guys get experience and see the mistakes of the pocket, not collapsing? Are we going to see that for the rest of the year? I hope we should, right?
I think you should, yeah. Get them out there, get them in game experience, and see what happens. Then you can bring them to the game film the next week and say, this is what you're fucking up. Work on it in practice. Fix your shit. Next year is a different year. Let's come as a team together and fucking fix this shit. But until then, it's going to be a sloppy rest of the year.
Are you with me, or do you think quarterback should be on that list? Should we see Jarrett Stidham, or is this the Cam Newton experience for next year?
I hope it's not the Cam. I hope it's neither. I hope you address it in free agency or the draft. One of it, or both.
But don't you think we should see Stidham play? Just for other teams, or just to know? Like, what's the point of not seeing him play in this stage?
Got a good point. I don't know. Throw him out there.
I mean, you're trying to develop Harry. You're trying to develop a Myers. You got your rookie on the offensive line. Who's young and offensive that's going to benefit from playing with a veteran quarterback who's not that good versus just going out there and taking your lumps with probably a shitty second-year quarterback in Jarrett Stidham. And maybe he showcases and you can move on from him if you don't like him and trade him, or you find out maybe he has something in the bucket there because you put him in live action.
Maybe they don't want him out there just for trade bait alone, and they don't want him to go out there and play like shit and then lose value in a trade if they could trade him.
that says something. If they're so afraid of how bad they know Jared Stidham is that they won't put him on the field so they possibly can trade him for a 6th rounder or something.
Compensation pick.
Fucking A. Send him down to Dallas so his wife can have her Texas home and they can be happily married.
And all that bullshit.
Fun shit. Well, okay, that was fun. Well, we'll keep watching the Patriots. For any of these blowhards that are jumping off the bandwagon and don't schedule to watch the Patriots every Sunday because they are not guaranteed to get to the AFC Championship, you can fuck right off, okay? We're not old enough. Yeah, we're not old enough to really remember the terrible, terrible days, but the 92 season, I got to remember that. The 91 season when before Kraft, we know what it is to suck. We know what it is to suck. And it was fun watching the Bledsoe teams. They sucked, and then they got good, and then they sucked with Pete Carroll. So, look, Brady's gone. We're going to have to fight through this year. Hopefully Belichick can figure it out. If you're jumping off the wagon because of this year, no respect.
We don't want you back on the wagon.
Get the fuck off the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, go Bills.
Go Washington, our words.
All right. Speaking of that, around the NFL, what's sticking out to you today there, big boy?
Prayers and condolences to my boy, Joe Burrows, and his knee.
Injury.
Again, I didn't need the ESPN to alert me on my phone to say he tore his ACL. No fucking shit. You don't say.
You don't say. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen that replay, I'm sure you have. He got fucking crumbled in the pocket by
it looked like Joe Theismann. It looked like the Joe Theismann hit all over again.
Joe Theismann Burrow.
Yeah. What else do I got? Derrick Henry, best back in the NFL for sure. Another game-winning run, beating Baltimore in Baltimore.
Did you watch that run live?
Yeah.
That was a nothing run that he just turned into a game winner.
Yeah.
I mean, off tackle
that he
left.
Did when he went like that and then gone. A big man like that shouldn't be able to move like that.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that doesn't look like he's running that fast, and he's running faster than everybody on the field. Yeah. He's a fucking truck, and Baltimore's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
You said it. The other one I have, Atlanta, apparently it wasn't all Dan Quinn's fault because Taysom Hill came in and fucking beat him, and now 7-3. Who dat? Who dat going to beat them Saints?
Vulturing touchdowns from Alvin Kamara. In the red zone. Taysom Hill and those quarterback keepers. But, yeah, who dat nation, they're still rolling. I mean, they did it last year with Teddy Bridgewater. Breeze missed 5 games, so went 5-0 with Bridgewater. Ooh. Bridgewater got $20 million out of it.
When you break 11 ribs, though, I don't know if you're going to miss 5 games. I think you're going to miss a little bit more.
Was it you or Bill that said, I didn't even know you had 11 ribs?
It's Bill. He's like, I had to Google this shit. I didn't know we had more than 11 ribs.
It's like, he's some special fucking specimen. Where do you get 11 ribs, and how do you break them all in one hit?
That's crazy.
Yeah, collapse lung, 11 broken ribs as a 40-year-old dude, and then having to go back and take the same hits. I don't know.
No thanks.
I don't know. I question if he might retire, but I think didn't they sign it? Doesn't he have one more year for like $20 million? And he's a competitive son of a bitch. So I don't know. It'll be hard. It would be impossible for the Saints to let him go.
Yeah. And the last thing I have is the one thing I thought I'd never say in my lifetime. The Cleveland Browns are 7-3.
Ooh.
Can't believe that shit.
Ooh.
I mean, you beat the Eagles who suck, but I mean, still, you're 7-3. You're on your way to the playoffs.
The best part about the Browns being 7-3 and beating the Eagles is my prediction for the putrid Giants winning with 5 to 6 wins, winning that division. It's very much looking like it's going to happen.
Hey, my Washington, our words are in the hunt right now too. So
they won today too. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Golf clap to you. 20-9. They destroyed your boy Burrow. That must have been a real conflicting point.
It was bad. Like I didn't want any. I wish it was a draw.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the actual juicy news. Ray, your boy, Mr. Glass Gordon Hayward, opts out of his deal over the weekend. And obviously we had 24 to 48 hours of scuttlebutt that he wants to go home, which he does or did. And 4-year, $120 million deal or $100 million deal on the table from Indiana. It's just a matter of Danny and Indiana finding the the right trade scenario to punch that through, sign and trade, Gordon Hayward leaving Boston officially. And then out of the blue on Saturday afternoon, everyone got the Billy Bomb. Everyone got the fucking hashtag Billy Bomb. Gordon Hayward signs 4-year guaranteed $120 million Charlotte Hornets.
Wow. Laugh out loud, wow. Do you know he's only made one All-Star game in his whole career?
Mm-hmm.
And then for Boston, playing here in 3 years, he's only played in 133 games in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, a season is 82 games long.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like shit. Doesn't look like the same player he came from Utah. Michael Jordan is respectfully the greatest basketball player that ever lived. But when it comes to being an owner and a GM, you are the biggest fucking idiot that has walked this planet. To give Glass Gordon $120 million for 4 years is laugh out loud funny, and shame on you, Michael Jordan.
I thought that it was – I had to look at it. I didn't even trust Woj. I had to find 3 different separate tweets that said it was official. I thought it was reporting Gordon Hayward offered, hasn't accepted type of thing.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It was official, and it makes it very, very hard for me. Well, not initially. Initially, I'm pretty sure I said fire Danny, but then I came back and said, okay, how did this all fucking shake out? Because $30 million a year for Gordon Hayward is ridiculous. It's absurd. It's unbelievable. $25 million a year from Indiana was still probably an overpay, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
For that to happen with Charlotte, there has to be more information that comes out, and some of it did. They did say that Danny was late to pull the trigger on the Indiana deal because he wanted more than Miles Turner and Doug McDermott in exchange for Gordon Hayward. Which on the surface, I guess you can kind of get. Like, if I'm in a negotiation there and I say, all right, you're willing to offer this guy $25 million a year to come play for you for 4 years, and all you want to give me is your ninth guy off the bench as a stand-up shooter and your backup center. If you're willing to pay him $25 million, you think he's worth more than that. So I got to get more than that. So I can understand where Danny's coming from in that negotiation. But at the same time, if that's the stalemate, then that's the stalemate. And if that's the deal, then that's the deal, because you're looking at an asset that's going to walk out for nothing. And guess what? That's what happened, reportedly. That still has not been signed in ink, so a lot of scuttlebutt revolving around. Charlotte still might be looking to sign and trade because they did not have enough cap room to outright sign him. So they might have to stretch, what the fuck's his name?
Batum?
Yeah, Nicholas Batum.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Batum. Speaking of another stupid fucking contract from Michael Jordan.
They waived him already.
They waived him, but then you got to stretch him. Mm-hmm. So it's like the Bobby Bonilla situation. So I think he had
it was 3 years, $9 million or something like that.
3 years at 9 per, so it'd be 6 years at 4.5 per. So they could fit Gordon Hayward under, but you're stuck with 6 years, $4.5 million, and you don't have the player.
No thanks.
So it would behoove Charlotte to do a sign and trade. So we're moving quickly. We didn't shit on Danny enough, but we're going to do Fat Tuesday as Danny Ainge, a good GM, and we'll do plenty of shitting on Danny for that. In the situation that they're at, Charlotte should do a sign and trade for them. Boston should either do a sign and trade, or they can offer a first-round pick to Charlotte and open up reportedly about $30 million in a trade exemption.
Done.
Ray, I cannot tell you how like painful and injured I got this weekend trying to read and learn the NBA cap.
It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. There should be college courses on this shit.
I hurt myself.
I don't doubt it.
I was drinking a beer, sitting outside, sweating, trying to understand the ramifications of what was going on and if they could sign. And then I got ambitious and tried to make it work for Giannis next year. It was like the math just –
You can't do the Jimmy Stewart and just get a cocktail napkin and just throw numbers down?
No, and I'm very notorious for like doing the math and knowing I'm right and being way wrong. So that's the situation I walked into. So as we stand, Boston Celtics, you have lost Gordon Hayward for right now nothing potential $30 million trade exemption or some trade exemption. Danny Ainge doesn't give up first-round picks for anything. We know that. Potentially getting a player back in Nicholas Batum or Scary Terry, possibly coming back to match the salaries, make the salaries work. I don't want either of those guys, but if you can flip them, if Danny's working on a deal to flip them and get the open up the cap space so you can go sign something you want, fine. You also, two things I did like, signed Tristan Thompson and signed Jeff Teague. This is stuff that we've been screaming at Danny Ainge to do for 2 years. Go find legitimate veterans who have won to fill holes in your lineup. Tristan Thompson is that perfect big guy for me. And Jeff Teague, although does not have a championship, is a perfect fit behind Kemba Walker as an offensive threat, backup point guard. And if Kemba needs time for his knee, Jeff Teague could fill in seamlessly. So what were your reactions there? I know that you were not the biggest Tristan Thompson's fan, and you were yelling at me and Bill.
I don't understand where you got – no. I don't know where you guys are getting this information. All I said is I like Tristan Thompson as a player. I don't like the baggage he brings with it, i.e. the Kardashians. That's what I said. And Jeff Teague, I think, is a great backup point guard. And like you said, if Kemba gets hurt, he can fit right into that role, which I hope this puts Marcus Smart back on the bench. Don't know if it will, but we'll see. Love the move so far.
I'm thinking with, as it stands now, Marcus Smart's in your starting lineup. Jeff Teague's your backup point guard. Tristan Thompson could fight for the starting center role. We know that the Celtics have floated starting centers depending on matchups. I would expect them to do the same thing. If you got a Joel Embiid or Giannis or Adebayo to deal with, then I would expect to see Tristan Thompson. If you got a smaller lineup, expect to see Daniel Tice or Robert Williams, depending on his development. But I like that big man core. I think you got three different guys that can do three different things. You got Daniel Tice, that is a solid pick and pop offensive player. Definitely overplayed his worth last year on the defensive end and just all around. But he can't do it. He can't do it consistently for 72 games this year. It's just he's going to get exposed here and there. And Robert Williams just has to. Time Lord has to learn the game. He can't get
and defense.
He can't be jumping through the fucking roof at every ball fake on the floor and find himself, 82 feet away from the action because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So Tristan Thompson should be able to hold down all of that. And yeah, Jeff Teague, perfect. Yep. Perfect. But I don't want him to be done.
No, you got to keep going. You got other holes you got to fill. Shooting guard, get Marcus Smart on the bench would be the perfect way to end this free agency.
I'd like to see another shooter. Obviously, we haven't touched on the draft, so let's move into that shit show. Ray, how many people in all spans of sports media said the Boston Celtics have to make a deal because they cannot use all of these picks this year?
That would be all of the sports media said that?
Every one of them, including us.
Yep.
And what did he do?
Oh, can I answer this?
Yeah, go ahead.
He used 3, but traded 1 and got 1 in the second. And so, yeah, he still used 3.
He drafted 3 goddamn players. He had 3 roster spots and drafted 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody knew, not even thought that he should, everybody knew that he had to package those picks. And, people were saying move up 1 spot, go from 14 to 13, give up those just to do it so you're not loading your bench with rookies. And Danny Ainge himself said it is not in our best interest to put 3 more rookies at the end of this bench. And he fucking did it.
Mm-hmm. He liked what he saw. He liked what he saw, he says.
Best shooter in the draft, Ray. Best shooter in the draft.
Best shooter in the draft.
Fucking Danny Naismith, James Naismith, the father of basketball himself is coming to the Boston Celtics out of Vanderbilt. Best shooter in the draft. Fucking Little Dick Pritchard out of Oregon is coming in as your backup point guard, Ray. He's coming in. He's gonna bounce Marcus Smart out of the starting lineup. This kid, no, he's gritty. He's a 4-year college player. He's coming in. He's ready to go. He's legit. These fucking Celtics people, I swear to God.
Don't forget about my cousin, please. Yum Yum Tum Tum.
All right, Yum Yum Tum Tum. Yum
Shalom
Yum Tum Tum.
from Israel.
yams and tacos and semis, all of Bill's mom's favorite delights. I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do? You got Romeo Langford, Grant Williams, James Naismith, the founder of basketball, Little Dick Pritchard, the Carson Edwards, the two little fucks that are playing in Maine, Taco Fall. What was the G League MVP? I like Tremont Waters.
Tremont Waters. I was just going to say Bill's boy. Bill's boy.
You literally got fucking 10 rookies and second-year players on your bench. I would imagine you have to start packaging these guys and move on from them, but who knows? It's Danny Ainge. Who knows?
Well, Maine Red Claws are going to look good next year. Looking to get season tickets up in Portland.
Portland. Oh, yeah, the Claws going to look good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Claws going to look good.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that because there's only two of us. No one tells us how much time we have left on this. So
we got another couple minutes.
All right. Well, I hope that's not it for Danny. I hope we see something coming out of this Charlotte deal, whether it's a trade exemption where you can go get a legitimate veteran that can do something with you, or if you can get a player back in return, you keep him on the roster this year, and he's someone you can trade next year, then fine. But I think that they are probably as good, if not better, without Gordon Hayward on the lineup with the moves that they've made so far. But letting that type of asset walk after you saw Horford and Kyrie leave in the past year as well, it's just not a good feel. And then you go draft 3 more fucking guys after you said you weren't gonna. It just seems like you're losing. You're losing, and your plan's not working.
Yeah.
And what does like?
And what does it say that you signed these 3 big name free agents? All of them walked. None of them re-signed. What does that say to you? What does that say to this organization? Yeah, and all these guys are leaving. I mean, that's not a good look on the Boston Celtics front right there.
That being said, this is why it's so tricky with the Celtics. Jason Tatum signs his 5-year, $195 million max extension. He will be a Boston Celtic, or he'll be in control of the Boston Celtics for the next 6 years. That puts him at, I think, 27. I think he's 21 right now. He's saying all the right things. He's saying he wants to bring a championship to Boston. He wants to be a Boston Celtic forever. He signed the contract. All these kids signed the contract. You just can't let him not be happy and then force his way out of here in a couple years. Yep. And you still have Jaylen Brown, who was also potential All-Star. So you're still in good shape. It just seems like Danny Ainge is striking out here more often than not.
Yep.
All right, fuck the rest of the NBA. We're gonna end it there. We'll chat a little bit about it after. This was a very clean, easy. That was the fastest 45 minutes I've ever done because I didn't have to.
And fun.
It was fun. It was nice. It was pleasant. We didn't have to pay attention to Bill rambling on, waiting to try and interrupt and give someone a chance to talk. Maybe I filled that role today, but that's okay.
No, I think we both talked equally. I think it was great. After a bad day, bad weekend of the Celtics, losing out on some key trades. The Patriots losing today, season's pretty much over. I think we're very happy, nice to each other. No mother jokes.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Except for Ray's mom, which was fine. She likes them. She texts us about it. Bill's mom, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Habit for. Yeah, habit.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's good. And if we had gotten the bill that, a Sunday bill, a Sunday scary bill, I would have had to do a lot of editing, a lot of beeps. So this is better.
And a lot of
Stevie Wonder and shit. All right, this has been the Simple Mind Sports Show Monday headlines, November 23rd. We'll see Fat Tuesday, where we ask the question, is Danny Ainge a good GM? See you then. Bye.
I'd really like for you to put that picture on the other screen for the next show.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. I thought it would be a nice I Spy situation for Bill if he watches this video. He's like, what the fuck is that? Zooms in, gets all mad.